Now we're joined by the former UK Foreign Minister and the head of the International Rescue Committee, David Miliband. Thank you so much for joining us. In an op-ed in Time today, you argue that the UN is failing its core mission. I just want to play a portion of what President Trump had to say today.
What is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous potential. But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential.
Do you agree with President Trump that the UN is not living up to its potential?
Well, the United Nations is only as strong as the member states allow it to be. And the central point of my article is that the United Nations has a very clear purpose. It was founded 80 years ago to ensure that, quote unquote, the scourge of war was removed from future generations. Today, I'm leading a humanitarian agency, and there are 59 conflicts going on around the world. And the fundamental reason for that is that the political structures of the UN are gridlocked by differences between member states in the Security Council and beyond. I see this as a critical challenge if we're to sustain a managed global order.
So, in your assessment, what should happen now?
I think that the critical issue is not to write new laws. We've got good rules that were established after 1945. The critical thing is to uphold them. And there are a couple of things that are essential to that. One, I think that the UN is better when the United States is engaged. When the United States pulls out, as it has from the World Health Organization, as it has from the World Climate Talks, that actually weakens the UN as well as weakening the US. Secondly, I think it's imperative that we put civilians back center stage. The first words of the UN Charter that was agreed 80 years ago are "we the peoples of the globe." And those people were given rights in international law for the first time, above all for civilians in war, rights to life and livelihood. We've got to bring that back center stage in the operation of the Security Council and more widely.
You've talked about how foreign aid funding is critical to help the world deal with conflicts. With the U.S. disbanding USAID and stepping back from leadership on this issue, have other countries or private donors been able to fill the gaps?
The short answer is no. The US was 30 to 35% of the global aid infrastructure. It's now massively reduced. That 84% of US grants and contracts, according to Secretary Rubio, have been cancelled. We've seen that my own organization, 2 million clients, no longer getting services that they were previously relying on for education in Afghanistan, for help for refugees in South Sudan. So it's fundamental. I have to say the European Union has made a long-term commitment to its international engagement. So Europe's there. But newly richer countries like those in the Gulf haven't yet stepped up. And humanitarian aid is not something that China or India are stepping into. They're much more focused on their global economic links. So there's a real danger that we're going into a spiral where the needs of the poorest people in the world are rising fast, but the amount of help that's available to them is being reduced.
I've heard the saying before, if you're not scared, you're not paying attention. Curious, if there is something that keeps you up at night, what might it be?
Well, I think the rise of impunity, the idea that laws are for suckers, is very, very dangerous. I was in Sudan just last week, and that is a country where 30 million people in a population of 45 million are in humanitarian need. 3 million have fled across borders into neighboring states. And so the impunity that's claimed the lives of 120 aid workers, that's certainly center stage as I think about the challenges ahead.
IRC head David Miliband, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.